morning. I'm Sonia Hunsinger. I'm the Economic Development Administrator for the Coatesville Second Century Alliance. Welcome. Thanks for coming out this morning. Great turnout. We host this event to keep the community informed of all of the relevant activities that are happening in the city. And so we're really happy to see such a good crowd. More seats up front. Come have a seat. So usually this is the time where I would ask you to silence your phones, but instead take them out, log on to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever your social is. But we're fortunate to have Mitchell this morning here from Vista Today, who's live streaming the event on Facebook for those of our community friends and colleagues who couldn't be here this morning. So share away. There's a wealth of content in today's presentation. I want to recognize some of our esteemed attendees this morning. We have Amber Little-Turner from Senator Pat Toomey's office. Kevin Kramer from Senator Dinniman's office. We saw Ricky Campbell from State Representative Dan Williams' office. And of course we have City Council President Linda Lavender Norris. Councilwoman Green, I believe, is here. And no, not yet. Arvilla Hunt is here. Ed Simpson is here. John Polk is here. And Bill Shell just came in from Senator Dan Williams' office. Or, I'm sorry, Representative Dan Williams' office. Did I miss anybody? All right, thank you all for being here. We certainly appreciate your time and attendance. We wouldn't be here this morning if it weren't for our sponsor, the Matt Gorham. Well, we wouldn't have our munchkins this morning if it weren't for, well, and Vanessa the bananas and grapes, if it weren't for the Matt Gorham group. And I'd like to invite Matt up this morning to talk a little bit about the housing market in Coatesville.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out, spending some time in Coatesville today. We're really excited to see what's happening. And I want to thank you, Sonny. You're making this transparent for the first time, or second time, actually, in a long time. And I think that means a lot to everyone in this room. It's really a big deal. Thank you very much for your leadership. Yeah, that's me, Matt Gorham. So I also have a few of my other teammates here today. Trevor Williams, I have Brian Maloney. We have a real estate team of 11 people. 6 of us are Coatesville graduates, so we really care about the community that we serve. Our goal is to serve the community here, to try to dominate the real estate market in this area, and try to serve others. We want to promote home ownership. That's a big part of our mission. We believe that when people own their homes in the city of Coatesville, conditions will improve for everyone. Businesses, homeowners, our streets will be cleaner, our parks will be more full with children. We're excited about trying to promote that. We do partner with the Chester County Housing Partnership. Right now, there is a grant for someone who wants to buy a home in the city of Coatesville, up to $20,000. $20,000. That can change your life. That can change that person's life. Do you have an employee that home ownership may be a little bit out of grasp, but maybe we can push them in. Maybe their credit's not perfect. Maybe we can help get that credit fixed. Maybe we can help them get into some business coaching so that they can get their finances in order to change their family tree. That's a really big deal and a really big mission. So we want to try to promote that at the highest level. One of the biggest problems we're having right now is that we're running into inventory problems. You can see last year there were 74 homes available, and this year in April there's only 31. That is a huge problem for us in the real estate market. It's a real challenge. Supply and demand is not that complicated to understand. We have buyers that, right now, jobs are really strong in our economy, and so a lot of people are able to buy. So we have, 80, 90 buyers right now that want to buy something, and we can't find them that right home. And that's a big problem for us. So if you know someone that's looking to sell, it's certainly someone we would love to chat with. That's a really big deal for us. And you know, last year the average home sale was 101, 163 in here. So out of 100, and only 128 of them. And this tells about us. Yeah, we sold the most homes in the Coatesville School District, and that's over the last 12 years. We're very proud of that. We were 5th in Chester County last year. Wall Street Journal liked us, but really, we want to give back to our community. So if there's some way that we can serve you, if I can help you find, you know, some solace for one of your employees that needs to buy a home, do you want to, you know, invest in Coatesville and try to help make it better yourself? Please reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to work with you, and we're really thankful. So who am I introducing next?
Me.
Oh, I get you again? Oh, I wanted to pass it. I love Linda Lavender Norris. So why don't you come on up, Linda? Put the grapes down.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to see this room packed like this, my God. The excitement in the city is growing, and we are ever more appreciative for everyone in the room. And we just look forward to our future. It is so much brighter, and it's because of all of you here in the room. And I just want to say on behalf of myself and my colleagues, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And together, the City of Coatesville is rising, and we're growing. And the county, I just want to say thank you to our county commissioners, because they've been so instrumental in the growth of the city, in the projects that are moving forward. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge them. I want to say that because of the gentleman that will be coming behind me, our city is so much safer. The crime has gone down. The community has come out and has really become a part of the forward momentum that we're experiencing. He's our chief, he's our friend, and he will now come before you and say to you what he needs to hear, needs you to hear. So with that being said, Chief Lawfer. And might I say, he's not just Chief Lawfer, he's the Law Enforcement Officer of the Year.
That's something to try to live up to. No pressure there. But thank you, Sonny, thank you for inviting me and the Coatesville. I'm sorry? Oh. My? Oh, my slide. I'm We actually took that photo last year, trying to incorporate sort of what symbolizes the city of Coatesville. We thought it really kind of drives home what the city has to offer, and ties us back to some of the history of the city, where we come from, and our roots as a steel town. Those of you obviously are all familiar with where that picture was taken, but we have that on as our cover for our Facebook page, and we use that quite a bit, trying to promote the city and what the police department can do for the economic redevelopment of the city. So we're happy to be here. Sonny, thank you for the invitation to be part of the group here this morning and to just speak briefly about the City of Coatesville revitalization, the role that the law enforcement community can play in that revitalization. We are happy to be part of it. We hesitate sometimes to necessarily take credit for reductions in crime. Linda was gracious enough to mention that we have had a good run here for a while where our violent crime is down. But you have to be careful about that because there are just so many factors that go into governing crime and crime rates, and as you're all well aware, statistics can be made to say pretty much anything you want them to say. So if you're going to take credit for the good years, what happens if we have a bad year this year or next year, where we may be unfortunate enough to experience either some violent crime or unfortunately some homicides? I guess we have to take credit for them too. So we are reluctant to necessarily sell ourselves as being the reason for the reduction in crime, but we will take it and we will run with it as best we can. We're proud of what we do here in the city of Coatesville with regard to law enforcement. We like to say that we partner with the community, we don't police the community. We believe that that is an important role for the police department in any community, and particularly here in the city of Coatesville, given some of the history here in the town. So we are excited to be a partner with our community, not to be necessarily policing our community. So how do we do that? How do we truly partner with the community? We understand that our role with regard to the economic development part of the equation means that we got to make sure that people feel safe to come into the city, to purchase a home, as we just heard from Mr. Gorman here, talking about purchasing home and driving up home ownership. People have to feel comfortable coming here, that they're going to feel safe, that their kids are going to feel safe. The business owners have to feel comfortable that if they come in here in the city and put their hard-earned money here and take a leap and open a business in order for it to be successful, they have to feel safe, their employees have to feel safe, and the people that are going to patronize those businesses have to feel safe to come into the city and do just that. So, that really is the role that the law enforcement community, that the City of Coatesville Police Department can help to accomplish here in Coatesville. Other ways that we're trying to partner with our community is our TIP 411 program. For those of you who may not be necessarily familiar with it, I have some cards here, and Sergeant Alice in the back has some cards also. But that's our way, sort of a modern day way of crime watch, of town watch, of getting people involved in their community. What we found with the millennials, if you will, not that I see too many in the room here today, just saying. All right, there's a few. But what we found with our modern technology and those of us that are not necessarily millennials but may have embraced some of that technology is that a lot of people feel very comfortable sending a text message as opposed to making a phone call today. So our tip by text application is totally anonymous. You can download either Android or Apple. You can download the app for the Coatesville City Police Department for free. Put it on your phone, and you can anonymously text information to the City of Coatesville Police Department. It's totally anonymous. We cannot trace it. It's through a third-party vendor that runs that program, and it's been quite successful here in the city. We have solved a lot of major crimes that had information has come in, some of our homicides and such. But more importantly, it seems to be the quality of life issues that concern the everyday residents that they take advantage of that TIP 411. It's not meant for 911, for 911 calls, for emergency calls, but it's a great conduit to keep the community involved and to keep the information flowing to the police department, even if it's just because you see trash on your street and you want something done about that, because we all know what trash does. Trash breeds crime. So, that whole broken window theory, I think, does have application here in the City of Coatesville. So please, if anybody has any questions on that, Sergeant Alice is here this morning, has a lot of the flyers, and would be happy to help you download that app to your phone. One other thing I'll just mention here this morning, unfortunately, the report is actually too big to put on our Facebook page. We tried it, but it's actually too big. So we do have copies available at the police department, but every year we prepare this is our 2018 annual report. As you can see, it's pretty thick, but it talks about everything that the police department has done the preceding year in 2018. It has our statistics in there. It has our UCR statistics, uniform crime rate, that we have to report to the FBI. It has our stats. It has all of our community involvement, all of our programs that we partner with the city of Coatesville with, and it's really a great way to see exactly what the police department has done and is doing and continues to do to try to help the revitalization of the city of Coatesville. So we're excited to be here. Sonny, thank you for the invitation, and we will continue to partner as best we can. We're excited about all the different things I think that we're going to hear about coming up here this morning, but all the different things that are finally seem to be kicking off here in the community. Projects that have sort of been on the back burner for a long time are suddenly on the front burner, and we're excited about it. And we want to see great things happen here in the city of Coatesville, and definitely want to be part of it. So thank you for the time this morning. And our next speaker is Uriah Cole from the Coatesville Community Coordinator.
Good morning. Thank you, Chief Walker, for the introduction. And I think we can all agree that community policing is a big part of everything that we're trying to do here. So we appreciate your efforts, and we look forward to working with you more. So again, my name is Uriah Cole, and I work for Second Century Alliance as the Coatesville Community Coordinator. So why am I here? Second Century Alliance formed to ensure Coatesville's second century be prosperous and for residents and businesses. Coatesville Area Partners for Progress and the Chester County Economic Development Foundation got a grant from Wells Fargo to do an implementation plan that would bring residents better access to resources and better availability. Coatesville, as we all know, sets a mark on development projects that include streetscapes, real estate development, neighborhood enhancements, and economic opportunity. The resident-driven initiative that I'm here to implement was started by the residents. We surveyed residents. They give us input as to problems they identified in their community and what they'd like to see come out of that. Based on that, there were 4 key focus areas that they came out to: resident engagement, jobs and economic opportunity, youth empowerment, and community safety. So, for resident engagement, it's basically trying to get residents to know one another, to do what you guys are doing here, coming out to events, being involved, knowing your neighbors, and having more vested interest in your neighborhood. I think one of the issues that we have in Coatesville is that there are a lot of things happening, but our communication channels aren't so strong right now, and we need to try to figure out a way to centralize that so we can all better effectively communicate and know what's happening. We need better channels to inform residents, better transparency, better information sharing amongst the non-service providers we have here, and that's kind of the things that we're working on to build resident engagement. Parks and recreation is something that we truly think will make a big impact in the city. I think we can all agree that if our kids have places to play, it helps with their socialization, it helps form their imaginations, and really gives them something to do outside of just after-school programs, which are vital as well. We're working with different friends groups in the parks to not only take care of the parks, but also help plan events for things that they want to see for their kids. Home ownership is a big issue that we have in Coatesville. We just heard about the lack of available residential areas. And what we're trying to do is work with the vacant properties in Coatesville, figure out how we can turn them into areas or homes that residents in Coatesville can own. I think we find that more residents in the city lessens displacement, stabilizes the community, and makes sure everyone takes a vested interest in their homes. We're going to work with landlords to make sure that they're also doing their job too, as far as upkeeping their homes, upkeeping their tenants, and making sure they're responsible for how their streetscapes look. Jobs and economic opportunity. There are a lot of programs that do training development that help residents with soft skills, technical skills. What we want to do is make sure that we're partnering with them so there's an outcome at the end. We want to make sure that we're finding employers who can partner with these organizations to tell clients that if you go through these programs, these are the employers that we're working with that you can actively go seek a job with. Job fairs, we had one recently that was highly successful. 59% of the attendees were from Coatesville, so that's a huge plus. What we want to make sure we do is recruit employers who fit the demographics of the people who are coming to these job fairs. So anything from warehouse jobs to executive jobs, and we also want to make sure we're bringing employers who are actively hiring residents. Transportation is a big issue in the city. We need to identify gaps in service and provide increased access to get people jobs outside of the city, but also bring people in the city to work as well. Entrepreneurship. I think a lot of residents have great ideas for businesses that can work here. They may not have the capital. So how can we do something like a Shark Tank where residents come up with ideas and we find the right business for Coatesville? So I'm not just talking about a liquor store, a corner store, but the right kind of business that's really gonna uplift and help this community. Youth empowerment. One of the biggest priorities I have here is we have a lot of youth programs available. They're not either being transparent enough for what's happening, we're not sharing what's happening, or there's just not enough recreation programs. Parks, like I mentioned, we're working on revitalizing something like movies, YMCA, arts, music, community center. Things like this are what really help expand youth recreation programs and provide a lot of resource to kids. Coatesville Area School District, Chester County Economic Development Council, they're doing a lot of great work with STEM. There are a lot of programs that I'm finding out I didn't even know about. So the key is how do we get this information out to residents so they can have their kids join. There's a great program called GET, which gets kids out to other career fields and just explore exactly what those fields look like. So how do we highlight these opportunities for students? And finally, community safety. The chief just spoke about partnering with the different events happening in the city, and I think that's excellent. And what we really want to do is open up conversation for what community policing looks like. They offer a lot of opportunities to meet, shop with the cop, chief, coffee with the chief. Sergeant Hollis, where is he? Sergeant Hollis, there he is. I can't find anybody to say a bad word about Sergeant Hollis. This man is out in Coatesville, working every day, doing things that you may not know about, but behind the scenes, if you look deep enough, Sergeant Hollis is part of it. So that's the kind of community policing that we're looking to enhance. And basically, I think that community policing happens if we can successfully accomplish the other three things that we're trying to accomplish: resident engagement, jobs and economic opportunity, youth empowerment. If we can kind of figure out how to do those, I think we'll find the community policing or community safety portion coming in right underneath that as well. So those are the 4 key areas that we're working on. Our cards at the table. In front of you are the implementation plans that we're hoping will bring about the revitalization that we hope to see. So with that, I am going to pass this off to a young lady who I've been working with very closely on the Parks and Rec side of things, and their foundation does great work, which I'm sure she's going to tell you a little bit more about. So I'd like to introduce Kimberly Day Hardy from the Brandywine Health Foundation.
He's so kind. He said, "Young lady." Thank you. Okay, so I was extra excited about coming today because there is so many awesome things happening in the city of Coatesville, and every time we get an opportunity to just share and talk, it's something new that we learn each time. And so it's amazing with Coatesville, and again, all of the awesome things that are happening. It's just, there's an energy here. I don't know if people can feel it or sense it, even with the change of weather. We were talking a little bit about that this morning, how just beautiful it is outside today, and it's very symbolic of what's happening. If you remember this photo, if anybody participated in the Kaboom Bill, this was not too long ago in 2018. This is at Patton Park, and this is the culmination of that event where volunteers came out and just built that park, and it was an amazing day. I wasn't a part of it though. And so in my learning about the work that's happening around parks and recreation in the city, every time I look at the photo, every time I look at the video, I'm reminded again of the energy and what happens when people come together and work together. So I am Kimberly Day Hardy. I'm the strategy officer with Brandywine Health Foundation, and we have this exciting partnership called the Greening Coatesville Initiative. It is with the City of Coatesville and Natural Lands. So here's where we are. There was a report that took place, some work that was done, and this is the action plan. And you all are familiar with these parks already, what they look like, a little bit about the history of the different parks, and and how they comprise the city. So where we are right now in our phase with Green in Coatesville is that we are launching out and completing work at Palmer Park. Everyone knows where Palmer Park is located. This is a snapshot of what was proposed to happen there. So I want to give you a quick update of that and then talk a little more about what's happening with the Green in Coatesville initiative. So this was phase one. Some of the work that happened there, this is what was proposed in nature play and water features. And this is just a little bit of what was proposed, just to give an idea of how the natural elements will come together and form a nature play area. This is where we are right now, almost at completion, and some of you may have been over there. It is work happening every day, but they were pouring cement yesterday. Water is forthcoming, and all of the additional elements that are happening there, you will see that it's thriving in that area. The splash pad, this is just an idea, again, of the splash pad and the elements, just to give an idea of what is proposed there. And again, this is where we are. Now, yesterday and the days prior to that, the splash pad is like off to the side of where you see the little trail. The splash pad empties out into that trail under a bridge. And the previous slide that I showed you with the actual slide, the bridge, children can actually slide down. And it will be a beautiful, beautiful play space with all of the lovely shrubs and trees and nature that is forthcoming. This last picture that I brought up shows you again the progress. We are looking to bring in over 60 shrubs and trees and other natural elements in that area. And again, it's an active space. We are planning for a big, show you these other spaces as well. So we are planning for a big event on May 14th. That will be the volunteer day and ribbon cutting for the actual event. What we're going to do is, and I'm gonna just go back really quick before I get to, what we're doing is we're inviting, of course, everyone here is invited, and we're inviting our other partners and members and residents of the community to come and be a part of what will be happening that day. And again, there is more work to be done. So we will be laying mulch, there's a multitude of volunteer projects available for that day. And that completes phase one. The forthcoming phases of this project is phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. That is the resurfacing of the actual playground. Then there is, of course, bringing in additional trees, lawn seating, and then there's the work to be done with the basketball court. So we currently have a matching grant from the DCNR for $250,000. We've already raised some funds for that, and we're still in the process of raising money to complete that. And so where are we going? We're going to continue our partnership, of course, with the City of Coatesville, with our Parks and Recreation Commission, which we're excited to be a part of. We're going to continue to grow and really grow our Friends group, which Urias mentioned already, but also the Friends of Palmer Park and other Friends groups as it relates to the park. We're looking at the completion of Palmer Park, which is phase 1 and 2, which is happening right now, and then the forthcoming funds for phases 3 and 4. I mentioned that, and phases 3 and 4 also includes the playground, a pavilion, game tables. In the summer of 2019, we're looking forward to an exciting partnership with Disney. It's the Meet Me at the Park programming. They'll be coming out to the park for filming, and so we'll be engaging the community with that. Also is the Ash Park Master Plan and Pool Feasibility Study, and that is scheduled to start in the summer of 2019 as well. We have the Abdallah Park Fitness Court, which is a partnership with the City of Coatesville. You'll hear a little more about that in a few moments. And then there is this exciting process that we have called Collective Impact, of which we started. And that is when we are our partnership with many community organizations and residents throughout the city to put all of our ideas together and put some structure and just innovative programming, if you will, for what we want to see here in our city. We're currently running one of our collective impact groups right now, and they will be forthcoming, so you'll hear more about that work. Thank you so much. We have some handouts towards the back if anyone is interested in picking anything up. and members of our team from the Brandywine Health Foundation are also here if you have questions. Thank you so much. And now I'll pass the mic to Mr. James Logan, our Assistant City Manager.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tag, you're it.
I'm gonna try to do this without the mic. Can you guys hear me in the back? All right, great. My name is James Logan. I'm the Assistant City Manager. Real quick story. I've lived here in Chester County for about 18 years now, going on 19. I've been a part of the community for that period of time. And I've been kind of working behind the scenes in Coatesville for more than about 13 years. I'm looking at Joyce Chester. Joyce Chester and I go way back, almost when I started working in this area. But I was one of the individuals that started the first tenant program when CareerLink was out here. It was called Welfare to Work. And it was a grant actually that was kind of spearheaded by Senator Thompson, Bob Thompson, for those of you who may remember him. So through the chamber work, the Chester County Chamber of Business and Industry, I got my exposure here in the city of Coatesville. And now I emerged from behind the scenes, and for the last 8 months, I've been part of the city of Coatesville as the Assistant City Manager. And I'm very, very pleased and excited to be here. Before I get into my presentation, Sonny only gave me 10 minutes. You and I both know there's too much going on in Coatesville to be up here to talk for 10 minutes. Okay. All right. All right, and I know that you're going to be holding up the 1 minute left sign. So before I get started, I just would like to acknowledge our city council members. If you are here in the room this morning, would you please stand? City council members. City council member, Councilman Coates, our city council president, Linda Lavender Norris, our city council member, Mrs. Hunt. I did see Mr. Simpson. Where are you? Did he leave already? Oh, there he is. Oh, he's incognito. And is there anyone? Did I forget anyone? Is Councilwoman Alameen? Is she here?
No.
Bookman?
No.
Green?
No.
All right. So give a big round of applause for our council. I also like to just acknowledge our state representative. I don't think he's here this morning, but Ricky Campbell's here from State Representative Williams' office. Thank you for coming out this morning. Bill, where are you? Bill is here in the back there. Thank you. Just an FYI, State Representative Williams will have an office right next to the council building or City Hall. So if you have any things that you want to talk to Senator Williams about, Representative Williams about, please come on in and do that. Also like to acknowledge two more. Senator Tumey's representative, Amber Turner Little. I always get it mixed up. Little Turner. Remember that. Not that you're little, it's that representing Tumey, and also we have a representative for Senator Denman's office here. Thank you for being here this morning. Okay, done with all the shout outs. So first, what I'd like to just share with everyone, I did it right. All right, so just give you a quick community update. And you'll see here that I'm kind of toying with some tags for the city. Sonny and I are going to be working on a branding campaign. Every city has them, as you all know. So I'm kind of toying around with what should our tag be. So for this morning, I'm going to experiment with Stay Alive, because we want you guys to stay alive, all right? So here's a quick update on what's been going on in the city. For those of you who came in this morning, 82 and 30, you probably saw some surveyors out there. They are working or in preparation for the construction on First and Lincoln Highway. You'll see more activity this Thursday. Plant is going. You'll see new stormwater inlets, new curbing, sidewalk installation. We hope that this is going to have minimal impact on the traffic, but we all know that's not true. It will have some impact on the traffic. So we ask everyone, tell your friends, the construction is good, but tell them that they need to be patient as they get through our fair city here. We will post construction schedule and distribute copies to all of our stakeholders and residents. We'll post this on our website as well. Some of you may have been hearing about the catalyst signs. There are going to be 2 catalyst signs in the city of Coatesville. One is going to be on the 30 bypass. The second will be at Gateway Park. I know we've heard a lot of discussion, the pro and cons of it. There's a lot of articles out about how Catalyst has come into communities to assist them with their development. So Mike Trio, our city manager, is working closely with them in efforts to make sure that whatever we put up, it is going to be something that falls in line with the design and the beauty of Coatesville infrastructure and architectural design. So we're very excited about that. Coatesville train station, big buzz. A couple of weeks back, almost 3 weeks ago, maybe a month now, county commissioners came out along with SEPTA, and they made the announcement that SEPTA will restore service back to Coatesville. We don't have an actual date when that's going to happen, but there was $1 million check that was awarded to the city of Coatesville to jumpstart garage construction, which will certainly help bring SEPTA to the city. So we're very excited about that. Part of that whole construction phase are a number of things. 3rd Avenue streetscapes. If you all have walked from the train station or from 3rd Avenue down to Lincoln Highway, you've noticed the beautiful street lamps. The sidewalks are great, right next to the flower shop. Mr. Petrol's flower shop there, and it's happening. It's really it's something to see the change, and it's really nice to kind of see the residents, really starting to get outside and walk around a little bit more. 4th Avenue streetscapes, that's on target for completion, maybe late this year, early next year. The city design is 90% complete on South 3rd Avenue under the CDBG grant. And Mike Kissinger, where's Mike? Right here. Mike Kissinger with Pannoni, I was going to say Bernard, with Pannoni has been very instrumental in working with the city. We're very excited of your partnership. Mike also is kind of the lead designer for the garage. Is that safe to say? Sure. All right. So you can fire up any questions to him this morning. And again, we're just very excited about all of the partners that are coming together in the city of Coatesville. And as we move on to the historic train station, just an FYI, the Coatesville has a train station. Every time I'm in conversation, people they say, well, where's the new train station? Well, we do have a train station. There is a building there, considered the old historic train station, that we are working with Second Century Alliance, Sunny, to come up with a building improvement design, not only the landscape, but the actual facade of the building, installing kind of windows, new windows, and just making the building look more presentable. In addition to that, our police department, under the leadership of Chief Laufer, we are instituting parking and no parking, things that we have to do. It's a must. A lot of folks who are using that area to park cars are parking illegally. Don't mean to sound negative, but we have to enforce this because we do anticipate a lot more traffic. And we just want to make sure that we all are in compliance with our city laws and our city ordinance. On to the baseball stadium. How many of you love baseball? How many of you have ever gone out to Reading or Lancaster or York? Well, guess what? Coatesville may have a baseball stadium. We are in, oh, who said that? Well, is that an affirmation of saying we will have one? We will. Well, we are in the very early stages. We are in the exploratory stages of looking at the possibility of having a baseball stadium here in Coatesville on the flats. And again, it's in the very early stages. We have a company that's doing some feasibility studies, some preliminary work, of course, environmental studies and things like that. But just to have this idea and this concept presented to the city of Coatesville is wonderful. And We're gonna put it out there as a, you know, hopeful, and if not, what it has done is it's already attracted additional attention to the city of Coatesville. So we're very excited about the opportunity to at least be considered to have a stadium here. Parks and Recreation, Quality of Life. James Bookman is the chairperson for the Parks and Rec Commission. He has been working diligently with a number of volunteers here, residents, police officer, Officer Hollis is part of that commission. And these individuals are giving their time to come out and identify events, opportunities for whether it's cleanup or opportunities to work with young people and put on various events throughout the city. And we're very fortunate to have them. And just by a quick show of hands, are any members of the Parks and Rec Commission here, the volunteer members? Could you raise your hand? Back there, here, Renee, where's Renee? Mr. Sharp, I just saw you walk in. Where are you? Okay, that's good. All right, great. Thank you all for your volunteerism, and we're looking forward to working with you. Last but not least, National Fitness Campaign. Kimberly mentioned that. This is a wonderful project, and thank you to Vanessa Briggs for being one of our lead sponsors in this. Real short, National Fitness Campaign is an organization out of San Francisco, California. Linda Lavender Norris brought to my attention that there was a grant opportunity to identify a healthy city. We submitted a grant to them. We were awarded $35,000, a matching grant, to put in an outdoor fitness center. It is a kind of a center, 25 by 25 square block of stationary workout. You know, you can go in there, you can do the jump box, you can do the pull-ups, kids, seniors, adults, and I think Vanessa really looked at this as an opportunity to, in her vision, to promote a healthy and well-being of this community. It starts with, healthy, learning what to eat, what not to eat, and really just bringing people together. Our parks are kind of the beacon to do that, and with the Natural Lands Trust Partnership and Brandywine Health Foundation Partnership, we intend to do that. Coatesville is one of the few communities that is an actual walking community. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that we have some of the widest streets in the entire county. These streets are designed to be walked. So as we continue to market and brand our community, we want to encourage people to get out and walk around. Now, the unfortunate side, or the flip side of our community, is this. And I apologize that I may have to end on this, but this is a problem here. I'm on the phone every day with residents calling me saying that we have waste problems, we have trash problems, and we do. And Chief alluded to waste and trash breeds crime. Not only breeds crime, but on the health and safety part, imagine a 4 or 5-year-old playing in this stuff, cutting the germs, the disease, things like that. We have got to get better. And there's a young lady that I just met this morning, raise your hand, and she this weekend, correct?
Yes.
This weekend has put together a volunteer group that's going to go out and do something about this. Let's give her a big round of applause. This is the type of thing that we need. And yes, I don't mind getting all the calls and you guys telling me where the trash is, but we also have to work together in doing it. There's a gentleman here with Eagle Disposal this morning. Andrew, where are you? Andrew is our point of contact for Eagle. Eagle has been doing some wonderful things with us. Eagle, a couple of weeks ago, actually a couple of months ago now, they sent out 4 trucks on a weekend. We didn't tell anyone because we didn't want people to just start dumping, but they sent out 4 trucks to clean up Coatesville, and they did a great job. But guess what? About a week later, it was like this again. So we have to get better in informing some of our homeowners, some of our tenants that are here, and there's some landlords here in the audience. We have to get better in telling them that Eagle is not going to take trash if it's out of the totes. Okay? It has to be in the tote, not outside. That is just part of the contract agreement that we have with them. And in addition to that, we just can't have this. So I'm not gonna stay on here too much longer. But what I'm asking everyone to do is just help us keep this community clean. As we are bringing newcomers to the city, we want them to see something that's clean. We have a wonderful law enforcement report that says it's safe to be here. And if you all remember, the reasons why people move to communities, it's safety, it's education, and it's, where's Matt at? It's home ownership, right? There you go. So we got we got 2 of the 3. So we just gotta keep it going. Yes?
You got people coming from outside and bringing stuff in the building.
You're absolutely right.
So are you up in the middle of the night watching that?
Yeah.
It's coming in from the middle. Sometimes you can ride down here and see people bringing trash into the city.
You're absolutely right. And I hope that we have opportunities to write grants, submit grants, so we can get more cameras out. I think that's gonna be part of it. But I also think that we have some wonderful landlords here in the town that do have cameras, that their cameras are tied to our police department now, so we can kind of monitor that. But we have to get a little bit more stricter on some of our enforcement as well. Make the fines a little stiffer so people won't do that. Just a final note. Again, there's a lot of people here that have shown their support. I really appreciate it. We are on the move. We have some great things planned. May 5th, we have a little event that we're gonna do to recognize Coatesville sports teams. These are the high school athletes that have been doing some great things in our community, and we just wanna say thank you to them. That's from the swim team to the soccer team, to our great basketball team and football team. So we're gonna have something called a night out, May 4th, which is a Saturday, and we encourage you all to come out. This particular event, you hear more about it, is either gonna be at the 3rd Avenue, 3rd and Lincoln, or, and then you're gonna hear this for the first time, or at Ash Park. So we're looking to find the best location for that, but we want everyone to come out, a night out, May 4th. The other event that we have, of course, you all know about the September 21st event, the Grand Prix. In addition to that, the Parks and Rec Commission is gonna be doing movie nights, and July 6th, I'm all over the calendar here, July 6th, we're gonna have a Unity Day back at Gateway Park. So a lot of exciting things going on. Thank you all for this opportunity. And I'm gonna pass it on to the next person. And also this report here is in the back there. There's a full report. And if you have any questions, I'll be hanging out. I'm sorry? Oh, the Jazz Series, that's right, I'm sorry. Look for all of this, go to our website, www.coatesville.org. And just real quick, put in your phones right now, www.secondcenturyalliance.org. Get used to seeing this. Okay, now I'd like to turn this over to Mark Sherman with Midway Arts. Mark, just seeing you this morning. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Good morning. My name is Mark Sherman. I'm a real estate developer from Philadelphia. And this is my partner, Lane Udis. And we are the new developers in town that had recently purchased the Lipkins building on December 16th of this year, or last year. One of the things that had drawn me to Coatesville is my friend Mike DePestris of Legends Properties. Me seeing the sign, knowing that he's here, we have collaborated on different projects in Philadelphia in the past, and I thought that was very interesting that he had already started a project. The other thing that was very intriguing to me is I had recently moved into Guthriesville, not too far away, and I kind of bumped into the Lipkins, then Lipkins Warehouse. And I got out of my car and somebody said, "Good morning," one of the residents. And coming from Philadelphia, that's a pretty big deal. So the people are nice here, is my first inclination. And the Lipkins building is exactly what Lane and I specialize in. We take business districts that need a little lift, and we bring our talent and vision and bring the creative class to to start it up. And as Mike has done with his company on First and Lincoln, we will have somewhat of a following as well. People will know about us, know about Legends, and they'll come. The second thing that was wonderful for me to be a developer here, as well as Lane, is City Council. City Council was amazing to us. And they are approving everything that we're asking for, which is very helpful, because when you get into the red tape and you can't move, if you think about it, we bought the building on December 16th. We have new windows, new paint, building 68,000 square feet, completely power washed in the interior, environmentally sound. We had all the asbestos removed. This is a photo when we bought it, and that's a photo only 6 weeks later. We move really quickly. It's important for us to move quickly, and thanks to City Council, that was possible. The city manager and the police chief came over to my building to say hello. I wasn't there at the time. In Philadelphia, when the city manager and the police chief come to your building, you head for the fire tower. I thought that was pretty amazing, and I had mentioned that to Lane as well. License and inspection, went over, filled out the application, gave the contractor's license, wrote a check, and got our permits. The roofing, the windows, and any other things that need permitting. The sign, that sign is going to be iconic for us. That's our logo, and we intentionally put, it looks small on the screen, but of Coatesville down the bottom was very significant, because we want people to know when you come down 82, when you come up Lincoln Highway, either way, you're going to know that building. It's good for us, and it's good for Coatesville. We like people that create things. We like pottery makers. We like yoga folks. We like music, glass blowers. Anything and everything that is connected to the arts is our preferred tenant. We'll also rent to others. We'll rent to office users, and we'll rent to flex space users. Flex space meaning anomalies typically for us. We're thinking about hydroponics, people that are able to grow things 365 days a year. That building has a subterranean basement with no lighting, approximately 16,000 square feet. So how do you rent that? I mean, we're in the business of creating things and spending money, so we need a tenant base. So we're thinking some type of grow facility would be excellent, because it's temperature controlled and it's dark. If you need dark, you got dark. If you need light, you can put lighting in there. So that's an interesting thing that we're really excited to do. The roof looked like that 2 weeks ago, and now it looks like this. The interior of the building, which I actually love, that kind of rustic thing, looked like this, and now it looks like that. And if we want some design, we can actually strip some of them columns back off. We want it, when you come in and look at the building, either for a tour, a function, or as a tenant, we want it to look snappy, clean, not an old beaten down building. We have plans for parking, the RDA, another huge thing for us. The RDA was willing to give us the land, has one little 2-story building on it, but a nice sized lot, probably 35 cars. Was able to sell that to us with our project, and contingent upon us buying the large building. to have enough parking to be able to do all the things that we want to do. Our first members in our community is CrossFit Coatesville. And we're pretty excited about that. And the reason why is because in Philadelphia, Lane and I have a project almost identical to this building. It's just uncanny how close they look. We have also the Sherman Mills community in Philadelphia, which is a 250,000 square foot artist community.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had it for about 17, 18 years. It's been thriving since day one.
Mm-hmm.
And we plan to just keep moving through the Germantown community with the Olympian and the Midway Arts Building in Coatesville. We also are willing to help tenants build their space out. Meaning, we have an artist, you know, they have the money, they have their equipment, and they have the money for their rent. But maybe they don't have the money to build an office or run the electric all the way up to the 3rd floor for their kiln. We'll fit that in for them. We'll make that happen. We're very mindful that the creative class community not always has the money to throw out there on day one, especially other businesses too. I mean, I've founded about 7 different restaurants. Lane and I also bought the Records Building, 204-206 Lincoln Highway. Has a beautiful sticker of a restaurant on there, which actually the restaurant should look something like that. It's a great rendering. But we help people get into the restaurant business as well. There's a lot of talent, a lot of chefs, a lot of creators in that business, but the money's astronomical to put together to make it happen. So that is also on our agenda. Once we get this thing 50% occupied and we get everything lined up with the liquor license, we will be building and fitting out a restaurant as well. If you know anybody, or if you just want to come over for a tour, it's your community, it's open house, open door. You would like to come over, just stop by, and you could call us, you could email us, or you can just walk through the front door and stop at the office, and we'll give you a tour. The sign that we're very excited about going up should be going up in about 2 to 3 weeks. It's big. It's like 18 foot by 12 foot. Almost the size, a little smaller than this width and this height. And I'm pretty excited that people will be able to see without smacking into somebody next to them or in front of them. It's going to be so big that it's going to be an iconic sign and an iconic building, which we're very pleased about. We're very, very happy to be here. Thank everybody for their support. Lane, would you like to say anything?
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to not stare all the floor.
I would just like to add on to Mark saying, basically a thank you to the community. Just like he said, someone said hello that first morning. It has been incredible to work with some people that are excited for this community, just like we are, and they're excited to help us in any way they can, and we're happy to do the same in any way we can. And we're excited for what this will bring to all of us.
Is the sign gonna be lit up so we can see it at night?
It will be lit. It will be a 24/7 sign. That's it. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike Kissinger with Pannoni Associates and part of the train station development team. So I also got 10 minutes, but James, I got 10 minutes to talk about one of James's slides, right? So James went a little over, we pointed out, so with that, I think I'll take up some time in the air, right? So everybody does know there is a station, right? And there is also a 3rd Avenue streetscape. This is actually playing, so it's going to make me talk even faster. 3rd Avenue streetscape is complete. So on the right-hand side, you have what the graphic representation of it was going to be. And then on the right side, you actually have some implementation of that streetscape. So things have been quite improving along the way on 3rd. And then we get to the train station project. See, so, all right. So we get to the train station project and what we refer to, I think it's just the back station. So this is the master plan that was created. And again, my partnership, which I went through really fast, is the development team is Bernard and Pinoni and EDIS, who are contractors out of Delaware. And so this is the global vision of the train station project. It's flexible and it can be moved over as we go through this. But this is the vision. And so what I can point out is the station and platforms in the far corner at Lincoln and 4th and Fleetwood. You have a relocated Fleetwood. You have 4th Avenue on the right-hand side with offices broken into 2 different phases. And then you have a residential side on the left-hand side with, again, a parking garage in the middle, which I think James alluded to. There might be questions about. So that is the master plan for the station. And then the platforms themselves. So what we've done over to recently is we've really pushed on these platforms. PennDOT and Amtrak have been collaborating, trying to get the platforms and the station located. We have, this is not the current rendering. This is, I don't think there'll be purple up there. But what, well, we can take votes later, I guess. But the 4th Avenue tunnel, pedestrian tunnel, was one of the biggest things. And we talked with the chief and staff, and we talked with a lot of the city council about making that pedestrian way as safe as possible. And we also turned around and really tried to pull in the rest of Coatesville through this platform. We are in talks with Amtrak weekly to progress the track design as well as the platforms. And we are at 90% design on that and look forward to the future. The garage, right? So the garage in the middle there. Yeah, go back one. There you go. So the garage in the middle is fully designed. Through work with PennDOT and the city, we have a fully designed parking lot, which I believe is about 500 cars, and it's ready to go. It's there, and we just need everybody else. So like things like SEPTA and everyone else coming back to the table is great news for Coatesville. So we have private development. Again, I just pulled off the 2 sides. So we have the office side on the right-hand side, and we have a residential side on the left. We've had some great interest on the left side of this parcel for a ground-up structure that we've been going through. On the right-hand side, we have some interest, but again, it's a very flexible space, and I think that's something that's gone along the process as well. Is that these buildings could switch locations; they could be completely different shapes. But again, what we know is the core is we need that station back and we need some parking, right? So we know that that's the core that we need to move forward with, and everything else is going to fall in place, I think, as we go forward. I think that's my last slide. So I have extra minutes because I saw on the agenda that I was last, right? And then I knew that, how that kind of goes, and usually I stand between, people in the door. So what I wanted to say is, the chief was very, very safe to say whether or not to take credit for the progress and take credit for what's happening in Coatesville. But I think that the chief should take some credit for that, as well as your city council, your RDA, the city staff that you've amassed, the Second Century Alliance and everything that's going on there, and again the police. Everything in all of those groups have come together to create this progress. It was a lot of people's work, and it's been a fun piece to come and talk to people about it and to come and show these plans, because this is where you guys live. This is your homes, and the amount of work all of you guys have put into it is quite amazing. So I'll tell my own resident story. I come to these meetings and I always have to ask for things, right? And I have to ask, or can I have some right away for your sidewalk, or can I have construction easements? And your residents have never, ever once said no, or even treated me unkindly in any way. You know, so it's amazing to me that I can walk up and down the street, knock on doors, and everyone is very happy to see us, very happy to talk to us, and very happy to see the progress moving forward. So I think that's all I have.
Just a couple of points of note. I've worked in a number of communities, and a lot of times when you're working like this, you look at other communities and think how they do it, or it happened organically, or it was just this natural evolution. And the reality, to Mike's point, is there are a lot of people, hundreds if not thousands, spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to lift a community like this. So we're happy for all the partners. We're happy that they're all running in the same direction, and there's nowhere to go but up, right? So I did want to make a point about the Opportunity Zone. So Dave Schicchetti is our lead, many of you know Dave, on the Opportunity Zone program. This is a program, it's a capital gains tax program. All 4 census tracts in Coatesville are designated for this program. We have a working group that's been put together, and probably James and I are working on doing an educational event for the public, much like this, but all focused on the Opportunity Zone. So stay tuned for that. And I want to get one more round of applause for all our presenters. For a few minutes if anybody has any questions, but we wanted to get you out of here on time. So thanks all for coming, appreciate your interest, and stay tuned for the next few events.